Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance. Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, the science of getting stuff done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere and never enough hours in the day. Together, we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So, if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you are in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Nicole Zeno. Nicole is founder and CEO of Clever Cow Media, helping small and mid-sized businesses grow with strategic marketing and growth support. An award-winning entrepreneur and Phoenix Business Journal 40 Under 40 honoree, she brings over a decade of experience in business building, marketing and leadership to her clients. Nicole, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
You're extremely welcome, and as I often say at this point, the invoice is in the post.
Yeah, you'll just have to follow me around and just hype me up.
All right, whereabouts in the world are you, Nicole?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is part of Phoenix. But I am been location neutral for a really long time. So you'll find me all over the place, clients in the East Coast of the United States. I work a lot in London, Lisbon. I'm going to be in Sri Lanka next week. So I'm constantly moving around, but home base is Scottsdale, Arizona.
Good heavens. So we're really fortunate to have you on the podcast today. So we better crack on, because last time we tried to do this, I had a power cut and you've got rain there today, and so have I. Let's crack on before it's too late, shall we? I'll get the clock up on the screen, shall I?
Absolutely. Been waiting for the clock.
Yeah, absolutely. There it goes. Nicole, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
Yeah, so I work with everyone from revenue startups all the way up to clients who are making 35 million annually, annual revenue. And really the reason for that is because at the end of the day, what I find is there's a gap in we know what we have to do, we know where we want to go, but how do we get from point A to point B when we're in the weeds doing the day-to-day tasks? And so really what we do is we're looking at the strategic plan of attack to get you from point A to point B, right? So what are the things that are actually going to move the needle, that are going to hit those KPIs, that are going to get people out of that entrepreneurial poverty, where they're constantly hustling and never really seeing the results. And that's also why I started my podcast, which you'll see here, What the Frack, so that we can teach business owners more how to think strategically about growth, not just hey, it's 2026 now. What's our goals for this year? But how do we actually hit those goals so at the end of the year, we're not looking at our numbers and saying what happened?
Fantastic. So you've already alluded to it in some little detail there, but maybe you'd like to expand a little bit more on the problem or problems that you solve for your clients.
Yeah, so like you said, I was an entrepreneur. I started my own companies, and I exited a few. And what I started to realize was that my entrepreneurial friends were having problems in the marketing world, in the growth world, where marketing agencies were really expensive. They probably couldn't even afford them, but when they did afford them, there was like a gap in communication and expectations as to what they needed. And so they would come to me as a fellow founder and start saying, hey, you're really good at marketing and that's kind of your expertise of growth. So how do we even communicate with these experts that we're working with? How do we get the most out of our engagement? And there's a huge gap there where business owners are not thinking about growth in a strategic way, right? So generally, if I'm a business owner, I'm going to wait until I need more sales. And then I'm going to say, oh, we need to do all these campaigns. We need more sales tomorrow, yesterday, right? And marketing just doesn't work that way. Growth doesn't work that way. If you want to go from, $1 million a year company to a $10 million a year company, there is a lot of steps in between there. And there are a lot of pieces that you need to think strategically about and you need to reinvest in, whether that's money, time, employees, right? There's lots of those pieces. And if you're not thinking in a strategic way, you don't have a plan of attack, generally you're not going to hit those goals. So we really come in and start figuring out the foundational structure for people, the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, the repeatable, scalable processes that will help them. And especially with your audience of a lot of solopreneurs, they a lot of times are like, why do I need an SOP, right? Why do I need procedures? It's just me. But those procedures, those repeatable processes are what's going to get you out of those weeds and into the strategic vision and actually hitting those goals. And what I like to talk about is that a lot of the work that you're doing, the busy work that entrepreneurs are doing on a day-to-day basis, I would say find your zone of genius, the thing that really makes you different from everyone else, right? The thing that makes you light up, the reason you got into it. It's going to be about 10 to 20% of your work you're doing. That's your zone of genius. Keep that. That's the stuff that's going to like change the product set. And then the other stuff, how do we automate it? How do we make it more efficient? How do we get it out of your day to day more often so that you can do the magic stuff? That's really what we do for our clients.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. A lot. So,
Lots.
uh, yeah. All right. So, what's one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them to solve that problem for themselves?
Ooh, the one thing I'm on a soapbox about right now is the idea that uh, right now you can go on to your calendar and plan in with your executive team, whether that's whoever's in the day to day, whoever's making the decisions, put planning sessions at least once a quarter, if not once a month, on your plate and figure out what those KPIs are that you're going to be tracking and just start having time to actually step back, look at if you're hitting them throughout the year and what you need to do to either pivot or move forward. Just the fact that you will be looking at them and talking about them will actually help you visualize more strategically moving forward.
Excellent. All right. So now that we have a better understanding of what you do, let's dive briefly into goal busting, and it will have to be brief. We're a bit pushed for time, focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve your business goals. Nicole, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits? And I am aware that you've already mentioned quite a few.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, where we get, that procrastination, that burnout is when we're doing too much of the things that don't light us up, too much of the things that are not the magic pieces. And so often business owners, what I see is they come in and they automate all these stuff, all the things, but they automate the things that they love to do. And they stuck doing all the things that they should have automated. So figuring out the pieces that you want to be doing, the pieces that can be delegated, the pieces that can be, processed out, made more efficient, whether that's with software, that's with AI, that's with, bringing on team members, whatever that looks like, getting those pieces off your plate will allow you the ability to think more strategically. It allow you the ability to do more of the things you love, and that will allow you to be more efficient because let's face it, if I have a task I have to do that I really don't want to do, I'm going to put it off for 10 months and then realize it only took 15 minutes to do, right? That's where that procrastination, those inefficiencies start creeping in, and that's where burnout creeps in.
Fantastic. And in the last few seconds that we've got left, what should I have asked you today that I didn't? And your answers, please.
Ooh, I think you should have asked me, um, I think you should have asked me about what the frack and what we're doing there. So basically, anyone who's out there who is a business owner who wants to learn how to think strategically about growth, who wants to think about international growth, who wants to think about any industry, come join us over at What the Frack. We have a huge community of business owners who are really thinking about the next level of strategic growth, a lot of which are small business owners who are stuck in that entrepreneurial poverty. They're stuck in the fact that they left a 40-hour-a-week job and now are working 180 hours a week and can't take a vacation. We want to get you out of that. So come join us.
Wow, it's like you were in my mind. You read my mind. That is exactly what I was going to ask you anyway. Just not on your time, but on mine. So thank you so much, because I am genuinely interested in that, and I hope that you would share that with our listeners and viewers. And also, thank you for doing my job for me. I didn't have to add anything to that. I do have one more question now. I always ask at this point. It is a two-parter. First of all, how can people reach you? People that are ready to get in touch with you, what's a good way to find you? And the second thing is, and I always say, being British, it's a bit cheeky, this question. I always ask, is there like a valuable free resource they can get from you? And I always say, you know, it is cheeky, but the reality is sometimes people aren't quite ready to dive straight into, I'll just get in touch with them then. Sometimes they need to do a little bit more due diligence, and that's a perfect way for them to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn. I am always on there. I'm always posting on there. You can find us at What the Frack on YouTube and join our over 12,000 subscribers over there. And you'll find my information out there. Just Google my name. You can find me. With that being said, we are always putting out new free resources. So obviously join our newsletter. But for your viewers, we're going to do a checklist, a free checklist on all the things that you should be looking at quarterly, the KPIs and metrics that you should at least be baselining in your business. And once again, as you start to talk about these KPIs, generally what we see is that either you're not even tracking them, and we need to start tracking, or we're not looking at them on a weekly, monthly, daily basis. And these are the numbers that are going to help you hit those goals.
Awesome. As they say in America, us Brits, we have other words, but we allow you to have that one. That was amazing.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
I think it's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Is the one.
Absolutely terrific. Thank you so much. No, that was really amazing. Thank you. Genuinely, that was an absolute masterclass. You packed so much in. I got a much clearer picture about what you do and why it's beneficial. Thank you so much, Nicole Zeno, for appearing on Goalbusters today.
Thank you for having me.
You're extremely welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.